he was making hardly anything for me, and he quickly got to 40 hours a week, and I think I raised his pay up to $1.80 an hour, and I started asking him, what do you want? What are you looking for? And then I made it clear that I wanted to hire him on long term and didn't want him to be working any other jobs, because I went into his Odesk profile, and you can see with a lot of people's Odesk profiles who else they're working for, and I noticed that he had, I think it was one or two other jobs open, and I essentially, I would say it a little bit with a little bit more tact and strategy now, but essentially I asked him, what's it going to take for you to come work for me full time and no one else? And that is a very smart move. When you find somebody with great potential who's a good fit for your business and what you're doing, and who you can build trust with, you want to secure them long term, and you want to, you kind of have to a lot of times pry it out of them. What do you want? What do you need to make this happen?
Yeah, I found the same thing, and those were the initial conversation in the interview with me, because I knew that people, when they can get dedicated and focused on one goal, one task, one mission, everything falls into line. But if they're trying to do two things, serve two bosses, it doesn't work. And so that's one of my rules. When I hire someone full time, they're exclusive. And finding out what does it take, and if they have big financial needs, if they have an expensive lifestyle, then you need to know that up front. And if it's a very simple lifestyle, then that's fine too. But knowing what incentivizes them. If it's a small Starbucks, if it's a $100 day at the spa, whatever it is, even a bonus program. Like I said, Emma, she's a hustler. She gets the mission. She understands where we're going through the rest of this year and how it's going to pivot into next year. She can use that vision. And we put together a bonus program. This wouldn't be right for everybody, and this probably isn't right for most people's first hire, but we put together a bonus program that's several times her base salary. And it works in this role, in this capacity. But I'd encourage everyone to give your first hires and your entire team a sense of longevity. Let them know that this is a career, this is their home, and anything they need, they can come to you for.
Yeah.
Even when it's unplanned. With this storm, there's a storm that kind of, it was on the news, it destroyed a lot of things. It's okay if you have some construction needs, reach out to me. I'm not going to swing a hammer, but I can finance it.
Mm-hmm.
Little things like that. Be the person they go to. That's how you get a long-term team that cares.
Yeah, when Gabriel, when we made the switch from working off of Odesk to, paying differently, it's been PayPal, but it's going to switch again just because PayPal even takes like a higher fee than some other options available. But I had to, I kept asking him, what does it take for you to get a PayPal account? Because I'd like to put that 10% in your pocket, or at least 7% if PayPal's going to take, a 3% fee.
Mm-hmm.
What's it going to take for you to get paid more? And he said it was a 8 to 10 hour journey to another city to apply for a bank account, and then if he got approved, he could get a PayPal. And I offered to pay for the gas it takes to get there, and he had a day of essentially paid. I wouldn't call it vacation, but I paid for that day, not because he was working, but because he was doing something to better our relationship.
Yeah, and things like that matter. They really, really do. Along those lines, it's nice to have a good working knowledge of what they need and what they don't need. Sometimes they need better internet feeds. Like if you're going to do screen sharing and videos, you have to have a pretty fair internet connection.
Mm-hmm.
And especially if you're going to do live calls or client Skyping and screen share, you need a backup internet connection. You need a plan B and even a plan C. And so the more important the work, the more important the role. Make sure they understand that. Make sure they're looking forward. I'll dive into just a little tangent. Sometimes technology here, there, everywhere, things go wrong. And so she has someone on call who can be her tech support. If the router, if the internet service stops working, she'll pay his entire day's wage for him to fix the problem in 30 minutes. And whatever he's doing, he stops what he's doing for the company he works for, and he comes to her apartment and fixes it. And so you're going to have to pay higher wages so that they can pay higher wages, so that they can really dedicate and focus on your resources, your projects. So I know we've been chatting for quite a bit. We went over how to find them, how to keep them, how to train them.
Mm-hmm.
What else would you like to go over? We also have Craig here with us, and we'll just open it up to Q&A in just a minute.
Let's see. Something that was on my mind is, we touched on a little bit, but the importance of a team leader and somebody who is the main person to answer to, because what a lot of entrepreneurs get caught up in is managing a bunch of people.
Mm-hmm.
And we kind of adapt, we do this in multiple areas. We'll adapt the old 40-hour work week working for somebody else, and we'll just kind of mold, make it fit into our business, and we think that 40 hours of work always equals X amount of dollars, and now I have to manage people. Now I'm the boss, instead of I just went from being under a boss to now I'm just in a similar model and I'm the boss and I have to manage all these people. Well, the great thing about having your own business and running your own business, or even just I like to call myself when somebody asks what I do, a lot of times I'll say I own a company that buys and resells on Amazon, and I teach people how to do the same. But the nice thing is you can invest your time into this person that you trust, this team leader, and as you're investing your time into them, they can manage the people. Then they do the legwork. So when somebody has a question, they go to Gabriel, and Gabriel will answer, and if he can't, then it goes to me. So I'm only answering questions that need my personal attention.
Well, I learned that from you, and I really like it, because prior to that, I was spending a lot of time talking to Ivan, just chatting like basic maintenance things of how to improve, just how to tweak the strategy just a little bit. And I was having to talk with Ivan, then talk with Emma, then talk with Ivan, and back and forth and back and forth. And then we made a change and said, everything you need will come from Emma. Anything you want, ask Emma.
Mm-hmm.
And then that went from, I might chat 3 hours a night while I'm doing some other thing. I'm processing some inventory requests or watching a DVD. It was casual work, but it was still work, and it still took up bandwidth. But now that mental bandwidth is freed up to do other things, and Emma gets the vision, so there's a lot less interactivity than I need with Emma to just staff meeting, keep things planned.
Yeah.
And another good thing here, Craig's writing in, have you seen that TED Talk from Dan Pink or read any of his work?
I'm a little bit familiar with Dan, but I don't think I've seen that specific TED Talk.
I'll just bring this to the table here. His whole concept, he's a thought leader. To be on a TED Talk, you really have to have something that wows people. And this is really relevant, not just to managing a team, but also the next generation of entrepreneurship is based on being who you really are, on really that experience. So it's the idea that we're only motivated by money up until a certain point. From there, it's about creativity, it's about self-expression, it's about being part of something bigger than yourself. And we could take that into 1,000 different directions, but we actually live that out, and that's why our team works so well. It's not about the money, it's about that something bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we'll post that resource. It's TED Talk or TED.com/talks/Dan Pink on motivation. Cool guy, great concepts, and he just keeps everything's based in research. It's not just an idea theory. Yeah. He's basing it on actual case studies.
Does he talk about the difference between bonuses and higher pay in that?
Yes, absolutely. And I've got something to share on that, unless you want to just jump into that real quick.
You can go ahead.
Okay. So, one, it's about the mission. It's about the vision. We have to start there, where people are going to understand, here's what we're doing today. or even here's what we're selling and here's what we're doing. And there is going to be a gap between the communication with the customer and all the things that have to happen on the back end. We want to wow our customers, so we're going to do more than we're promising. And people have to understand, the team has to understand where we're going on our mission.
Mm-hmm.
And so I mentioned before, Emma's got a bonus structure that's several times her base salary. Well, when I say that, people think, oh, that's piles and piles of money given to someone in the third world. That's not exactly what it is. She has her base salary so that all of her needs are met and then some. And then we have a spreadsheet of, okay, X, Y, and Z have been done. You did these things and you get these bonuses. And so it's a spreadsheet of what she's earned, but she doesn't have access to that money. It's still in my account. It's still under my control. When she wants something, for example, she's getting ready to get a new MacBook. Great. The company will pay for it because it's in a pool of money that she's earned as a bonus. So she doesn't get the money, she gets the stuff the money buys.
That's cool.
That's exactly what it is, because the money is worthless until you get rid of it anyway. So if I have it to give it to her just for her to get rid of it, then it's less satisfying. But now that she can have a new MacBook, and we'll do an engraving, we'll do some cool stuff so that it means something, so that every time she sees that, it goes back to all of these cool things that she did. She basically did her job, but she did it to a higher level, a level that was meaningful for our clients, for our mission, for our vision, and for the team. And so that goes right into Dan Pink. It's motivating them in the right way. Let the team tell you how to motivate them, not you tell them how to be motivated.
Yeah, exactly. And I'll take a happy worker who's going to work to please and really be more of themselves in accomplishing what I'm trying to accomplish, than somebody who is just doing the mundane or the average and not as happy and save $100 a month. It's not worth it. It's not only is it not worth it, it's the right thing to do to pay fairly and pay according to just people's hard work and as they express who they are.
That's it, expressing who they are. Because ultimately, we're only here for so long. We've only got so much time. And these people are going to donate a lot of time to the mission, to the core values of making things happen for your business. And so once they get that, the communication, if they see the vision and they buy into it, now when there's a problem on the horizon, not only are they going to tell you about it early, but they're going to work on a solution and tell you how that they would solve that problem. Maybe they'll even solve it before it becomes a today problem. That only happens when people care. And Craig just wrote in, give your employees a purpose and they'll walk on water for you. It's true. Mm-hmm. That's what it's about. And I woke up this morning to an email from him saying, hey, boss, I'm sorry the internet's down. I've called everyone I can call. I'm doing everything I can do. I'm on my cell phone data right now. It's business as usual, but understand there are some limitations of what I can do until I get full speed again. And that was great. Rather than engage in a bunch of activities today that might have taken up screen sharing or she had to be on the iMac, great. We'll downshift to maybe a lighter day so it's just emails and calendar work today.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is the thing. If I had to do one thing, one smart thing over the last year to change my business, it would be hiring the right people. That's one of the top 3 things. Probably the second one would be go to live events and have your mind blown.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree 100% with that, Brad.
Yeah, and then kind of segueing from this to maybe a future topic that we need to discuss. We're talking about building a team and being part of something that's bigger than yourself. So you're giving that to your team. And so if you look at it like a ladder, you're not at the top of the ladder. In life, you're somewhere in the middle. There's always going to be people below you that you can help out, and always there's going to be people above you that can help you out. And so to have the right perspective is a big deal. So the same way you're doing this for your team, where you're at the top of that hierarchy, you need to also get involved in communities where people above you, where what you're doing an entire year, they're doing in a month.
Yeah.
Go someplace where you're surrounded by giants, people that make you sweat and you're nervous to be around, and you feel like you don't necessarily belong to the group because you're not performing at the level that they do, and they're going to help you perform much better. That's a topic I want to dive into. It's not on this call, but I'd love to kind of segue into that.
Yeah, well, and you know what? I think ultimately how it relates when I think about it is entrepreneurs kind of bent to think big picture. And when you don't have a team, when you don't have the time, when you're spending all of your time running or being run by your business, you don't have time to think big picture. All you have time and all you think your time is worth is to just put more time in to get more money out, put more time in to get more money out. And there's not much time for rest, and there's not much time for just creative expression of yourself. And when you have that team, that frees up your mind to think bigger picture. And the same way that stimulates that community will cause you to, you'll be inspired by other people. Community inspires, and it encourages, and it cultivates a creative atmosphere where we can think big picture together, and we can make that big picture thing actually happen. That's where community comes in for me. Is I have some ideas, some bigger ideas, but I have no idea how to implement all of them. And being in the right community, that's also important. Being in the right community will allow those things to be implemented and happen and come to fruition.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's about building those options, that choice, that environment, where the how will come later. It's exciting.
Yeah.
Hey, Craig, we've been on here for a little bit. You understand the topic. Go ahead and type in some questions, or if you have your mic working, go ahead and open it up. If you choose to.
I think he said his mic wasn't working before, so we'll see if he has anything in the chat for us.
Yeah. All right. Let's see here. Off-topic FBA question. Sure, let's go for it. It says, how do you estimate your shipping fees from your home office to Amazon warehouse when calculating what the profitability of an item will be? It's guesswork, really, because potentially you're going to be shipping to multiple locations. It may be the closest warehouse, or it may be the furthest warehouse. So as you do this over time, you'll get a good average. Realistically, I average about 30 cents a pound, covers my costs for shipping. Sometimes it's going to Phoenix. I ship a heck of a lot of stuff to Phoenix from Denver. Mm-hmm. But periodically I ship to Pennsylvania or Tennessee, Kentucky, Indiana. So you're just going to take some averages. But for me, 30 cents a pound covers it.
Yeah, a lot of that depends on the size of it and how much inventory you're actually bringing in. Because when I was doing it very small time, my cost per item was probably up closer to $1. But as I moved up in my revenue and items that I was selling, sometimes it would be as low as 10 cents an item. But Brad, I haven't looked into my numbers, but that sounds like a pretty good average, 30 cents a pound.
Yeah, that's realistic. And another thing, while we're talking per item fees and how to kind of balance out costs and planning, I started when I hired Bogdan. Bogdan's the gentleman who does my packing and shipping. He comes over once a week. He works half a day, sometimes all day, and he packs and ships everything for the week. So it'll be 2,000, sometimes closer to 3,000 pounds going out the door. And I budgeted 20 cents an item for his cost to pack it and ship it, and that more than covers his salary. It's actually closer to 10 cents an item when it's all said and done, because he's a workhorse. He plugs in his earphones and he just jams out to who knows what, the best of Ukraine, and he works faster than I can. What would take me 3 days, if he hustles, he's done by 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And kind of going back to what we said before on treat people well, treat them better than they expect to be treated.
Yeah.
If he gets done in half a day, the entire workload, he gets paid the same. And so it doesn't matter. If he wants to hustle and make it to lunch, go for it. He still gets paid the same. Whether he works fast or slow, it's the same pay. And that may not work for everyone's model, but it works for us, and he's really, really happy.
That's great.
Absolutely. And I know you do a per hour thing for your people who pack and ship. Is that right?